Federal leaders want to carry oil from Utah to distant refineries, but the path to make that happen could go through Colorado mountain towns, and Colorado lawmakers are saying, no way, how they're fighting the plan.
I couldn't imagine having another job on top of it. Just too overwhelming.
Teachers have been financially struggling and quitting. We'll show you how a new law is helping.
Two local bald eagles that have been bonded for years have been struggling to have a baby, and now we just learned they suffered yet another tragedy.
Imagine this, long trains, cars full of oil barreling through Colorado mountain towns every day. It's a federal plan that is about to become a reality.
And with the recent history of derailments, this is causing some big concern. Activists created a website, stoptheuintabasinrailway.com, in an effort to create awareness.
Today, Colorado U.S. Senator Michael Bennet, Colorado Congressman Joe Neguse, both Democrats, joined local leaders to inform the public of the dangers they believe this plan brings to the state. 9 News' Steve Steger was there.
Glenwood Springs has an economy that's based on tourism, and a lot of that tourism is based on water.
The Colorado River is the gem of this region, the whole state and beyond.
This is the river for 40 million people in the American West.
This group of local, state, and federal elected leaders are here to warn against another potential threat.
We're all here today to say the oil trains from Uinta Basin are not welcome in Colorado.
7 counties in Utah have banded together to build a railway to connect the resource-rich Uinta Basin to the national rail network. This project could bring as many as 5-mile-long trains a day along this 100-mile stretch along the Colorado River. The concern, obviously, is what happens if the train derails, sending waxy crude into the headways of the Colorado. The other concern, the risk of wildfire in a canyon that just experienced it.
This canyon is a very fragile place. We've had the Grizzly Creek fire. We've had climate change induced floods, rock slides.
They're calling on the Biden administration to study the impact of sending these trains through Colorado.
We've seen far too many derailments recently to know that it is possible.
We know that this would be catastrophic to have an incident here, not only because of the river, but also because we have the train tracks next to homes.
The company building the railway didn't respond to our request for comment today, but in the past, they've criticized environmental concerns, saying that hardened crude is easier to clean up than other materials. Not enough to ease these concerns.
Imagine the degradation of this river. Imagine the ecosystems impacted. Imagine the people, the communities impacted if a disaster were to occur.
In Glenwood Springs, Steve Steger, 9 News.
Now, the U.S. Forest Service has not issued special use authorization to build railroad tracks through the National Forest for this project, while the federal government has done an environmental impact study on how this train may impact Utah. Senator Bennet points out the study did not look at what it could mean for Colorado, and he wants the EPA to look into that as well.
Jury selection has now started in the trial of a man accused of killing a 13-year-old boy in a road rage incident in Westminster. This happened back in June of 2018. Megan Bigelow was driving her 3 sons to a dentist appointment in Westy. Police say she tried pulling over for an emergency vehicle and then got into a confrontation with another driver, Jeremy Webster, who was apparently angry that Bigelow had changed lanes. According to police, Webster followed Bigelow all the way to her dentist parking lot, pulled out a gun, and started shooting. 13-year-old Vaughn Bigelow was killed. His mother and youngest brother were seriously injured. Webster has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, this trial's been delayed numerous times. Issues related to COVID and to Webster's mental health. We now expect testimony to start next week.
Aurora police say the body of the murder victim, who was encased in cement below a condo, has finally been recovered. Police say they were working on a tip and believed the body to be in a crawl space under the condo on 2nd Avenue, but now they actually have the body. The victim is believed to be a 36-year-old man who hadn't been seen since last summer. 2 suspects have been arrested. Haskell Crawford is accused of the murder. The second person arrested in the case is Cassie Bach. She is his ex-girlfriend and accused of helping Crawford put the body in the concrete under her condo. Lakewood police no longer believe a fourth person was involved in yesterday's shooting that took 2 lives and sent a third person to the hospital. It happened near 14th and Sheridan. Police haven't said what ruled a fourth person out, but they do believe all the involved people have been accounted for. Multiple guns were recovered from the scene, but police do not know how the shooting played out or even, what led up to this. They do believe the 3 victims knew each other. If you have any information, Lakewood police would like to hear from you.
Teachers are passionate. They love what they do, but many have left the profession and more than 2/3 are thinking about it. That's according to the statewide teachers union, Colorado Education Association. A bill that passed last year in Colorado could help with the shortage. It gives student teachers a stipend while they have their residency in real classrooms. Before, students working on their education degrees didn't get paid for student teaching. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon gives us a closer look at the impact that money is really having.
This group of future teachers are close to graduation and getting their first classroom.
I'm honored to be a teacher. I'm excited to work with little kids and make an impact in their life.
But some of them wouldn't have made it this far without the help of a law passed last year.
A lot of teachers who are leaving, it's understandable as well. It's a lot.
Jilliana Bressler is a senior studying elementary education at Metropolitan State University of Denver.
It's a full-time job, just as a student teacher, and I'm technically not getting actually paid, but with a stipend, I am.
She understands why there's a teacher shortage and why students studying to become one sometimes are driven away from the field.
I couldn't imagine having another job on top of it. Just too overwhelming.
Student teachers didn't used to get a stipend for their apprenticeships. Many needed a second job on top of college coursework and lesson planning.
They say, I really want to be a teacher, but I just can't afford it.
Dean at the MSU School of Education, Dr. Elizabeth Hind, says now qualified students can get $11,000 for a 16-week residency.
Students who would have dropped out are saying they didn't. It is making a difference. These people are staying in teaching. And that's what we need.
She says 136 of their students this year qualified for the stipend out of about 200 student teachers in the college.
The students use the word lifesaver, game changer, and grateful.
So having that stipend, literally life-changing.
For Jilliana, it meant being able to pay her bills, buy groceries, and continue her dream of becoming a first-grade teacher.
I graduate in May and I will start at Smith. So I'm so excited. Yeah.
Dr. Hines says the funding for this stipend may run out after next year, so they're pushing legislators to make it a line in the state budget each year. Not everyone qualifies for the financial assistance. There's a bill on the governor's desk right now that would expand eligibility.
I feel like we see this in a lot of careers where that unpaid portion of the training is really the difference maker and the barrier for a lot of people.
Yeah, it can push them away from the job, but we're in a teacher shortage. We need them to stay in it right now.
Yep, Courtney, thank you. The principal from Loveland High School is now back on the job and will be back to school on Monday. Principal Michael James had been put on leave while there was an investigation for something that had happened last month. So classes at the high school were canceled on March 29th after a safe to tell tip suggested a threat to the school. That threat turned out to be unfounded. But during a staff meeting that morning, somehow the staff got outdated information about the threat, and about 10 to 13 employees left campus thinking it still wasn't safe to stay. Ultimately, classes were canceled for the day. The school district investigated all of this. Now Principal James will be reinstated to his position on Monday, and the school district is creating a safety committee and making changes to its safety protocols.
The former Elvis Cinema movie theater in Arvada is planning to reopen under new ownership. Today, crews took down the Elvis Cinema signs and replaced them with new signs for Sonora Cinemas. Sonora Cinemas had a location in Aurora, but they closed at the start of the pandemic. They've been looking for a new spot, wanting it to be similar to their old location. So now they're renovating and they're going to reopen, they say, in a few weeks. But unlike Elvis that ran those second-run movies at a discount, they had the $2 movies that were so popular, Sonora plans to mainly show first-run mainstream Hollywood movies. We're just 3 weeks away from Elitch Gardens opening up for the summer season, and a legendary roller coaster is returning. The Twister 2 wooden coaster wasn't in use last season, but this year it was refurbished, reimagined, and renamed. Look at this exciting video, yes. The iconic ride that's been around since 1964 is now Twister 3 Storm Chaser. It speeds off at 3.1 G-force, which is like going 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds. There's also a 90-foot drop and a 100-foot long pitch black tunnel that has the sights, sounds, and winds of a real tornado. Oh, this was good. Elitch Gardens opens April 29th.
Oh my goodness. A bonded pair of eagles in Westminster Park have suffered yet another loss in their journey to become parents.
If you're planning to catch some fish this weekend, we have a warning we need to tell you when we come back.